You're listening to How I See It, hosted by Han. You guessed it, that's me. I am here to motivate and inspire you with guests from all different industries and backgrounds. So get ready for personal stories of success, of growth, full of highs and lows, and of course, unapologetic realness. This is How I See It. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I am on here for a solo this week. We skipped last week because the podcast was activating in New York Fashion Week. I can't even believe I just said that. It was incredibly chaotic. I just got off the flight last night. I'm now in the studio today, Tuesday, and the episode is going to go live tonight. You know that the episodes usually go live on Tuesday mornings. I wasn't going to skip another week, but there was no way I was going to record this episode when I got back from the airport last night. So here we are. I'm so grateful. It's been such a crazy fucking week. I never could have imagined saying that we activated at New York Fashion Week this week. I mean, actually, I'm going to take that back. I could imagine you saying that. And I actually think this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today. It was such a great reminder to just trust yourself and trust who you are and to lead with authenticity, because throughout my career, people have always been like, how do you make fashion work? Because I obviously started as a fashion influencer and creator, always with the root of mental health, because I started to make people step into their most authentic, unapologetic self, to be more real online, sharing my mental health as I was sharing outfits. So mental health was always a part of it. But I think as I launched the podcast, more people started to ask how are you able to bridge fashion and mental health? Those things don't really go together. And my answer is always that it's just who I am, and that's why it works. That's why it's successful. And I think it's a great reminder to not let people keep you in a box. I think people have tried to keep me in a box my entire life. When I was a kid, through childhood shit and my family and my parents, through elementary, through middle, through high school, through college, people were constantly telling me that I couldn't do things and they were just trying to keep me in a box. And what I've learned is that you can pretty much do anything. And obviously, with boundaries. Anything that you feel passionately about, or that you feel called to, or if you are in finance but want to do fashion, or if you're like me and you want to do fashion, you want to be in mental health, things don't have to make sense to other people. They just have to make sense to you. The biggest disservice we can do for ourselves is to listen to people and allow people to keep us in boxes, because people can say shit, but our decisions are ours. If we allow other people to influence us, then we can keep ourselves in boxes. And I think that's something that I've done really well, humble brag. I do think that I don't let people keep me in boxes, and I've seen the repercussions of what staying in boxes does to us. So anyway, long tangent for I could imagine you telling me that we would be activating during New York Fashion Week as a mental health podcast, because that's always what I wanted. I've always wanted to bridge my two worlds, and especially going to Fashion Week for so many years in the past, as a creator, I noticed that there was never anything dedicated to mental health. And it's a fucking hard week. It's so chaotic. Cortisol is so high. There's so much pressure. And I thought having the podcast there, especially led by me, would be such a great way to symbolically show my journey of my career, and also provide the girls and creators and the founders there a space to dedicate to their mental health before they jump into the Fashion Week chaos. So we started with a workout event at the Nest New York City, which was absolutely amazing. These girls have created this amazing studio. It's a core focused, light cardio, but light impact style workout on these mini trampolines, which I thought was so beautiful for the message of the event as well, because it's fun and it's supposed to take the pressure off. Obviously it's a really good workout, but I do think that going into Fashion Week, there's a lot of pressure, especially as a woman in general, to look a certain way, feel tight and look fit and look good. And so to start with a workout to honor that need, but also pair it with something fun and with a mental health focus was really beautiful. So the Nest led the girls in a workout. Also, I had Daughter Lessons, this amazing workout brand that's seriously so comfy, so chic, such high quality. I would compare it to the Lululemon Align pant, which is saying a lot. If you know the Lulu Align pant, you know how amazing they are. Like Daughter Lessons is right up there with them. I would say maybe even a little bit better. They sent sets for all the girls and we gave them a little goodie bag with like the How I See It pod tote. Lux Unfiltered sent like their eye mask. VitaClean sent like some product. Ilia sent some product. And we had like Happier Grocery send like celery juices for all the girls. It was great. And then Alexa, this like amazing trainer and Reiki master based in New York, led the girls in a sound bath and breathwork session, which was amazing and really special to me. As you guys know, like I've been loving like sound bath and like Reiki and breathwork in my own healing. So I felt like to start the girls with a workout, target like their focus, which is to get like a good burn in before the week starts, and then kind of end the event with like my story and also like Alexa doing the sound bath and the breath work to like ground the girls as they go into chaos was so special. And it was just like fun to like see all my creator friends. I always say I have more friends in New York than I do in San Diego. Like so fun to catch up with the girls and like meet new faces too. So we did that with the Nest New York City, and I'll obviously like link them below and Daughter Lessons below so you guys can check them out. And then we hosted a happy hour, which was so amazing. Like I can't even tell you like how successful it was. Just like it was so beautiful to see all of the past guests that we've had on the pod that are based in New York City, past founders, therapists, influencers, and then some of my like people in the industry that I know, and then like other thought leaders and people that I haven't met before come to celebrate the podcast, celebrate the beginning of Fashion Week, and just connect. I think like one of the most beautiful things about, and like honestly the sweetest compliment that I got from everyone is that how kind everyone was. It really is in the company you keep. And I really pride myself on the people that I've brought on this podcast and the people that I've built business relationships with and like friendships with are down to earth, high achieving, very like connected, kind people. And they all got to be together and talk. It was just beautiful. And something that I had all the founders do was write in this book, like how they see it. As you guys know, I ask like everyone on the podcast, like how they see it at the end of an episode. And so I had all the founders and like therapists, thought leaders, authors. We had like so many dynamic people there. I had them write how they see it. And I won't share all of them because I feel like it's a little intimate and also they're very long. But I will say there was like 3 common themes. And the first was, like I said, like it is in the company you keep. Like a lot of them were talking about their support system. And I think to be able to execute and launch and take risks and build a business and do something that matters, you do have to have that support system. I am someone who really can self-motivate, and I still like would not be here without like my support system. I mean, talk about support system. I had Natasha of Tosh, her company like focuses on helping founders host events, you know, literally anything. She just does like everything under the sun. She's like super connected, but it's been amazing working with her. And she's been a huge person in my corner for hosting events and booking pod deals and stuff now. And that's been like a huge self-growth moment for me as well, because I've had to learn how to like relinquish and like let people in and like trust people to help me execute. You cannot continue to grow and execute on your like full helicopter vision for like what you see for your business, your life, if you do not trust people to help you and like curate the company you keep almost. So it's been great like having her for support. And yeah, so that was like something that I think everyone mentioned, like how grateful they were for their support system. Second, I would say is that the journey like never stops. A lot of them specifically actually talked about, I think it was the founders of the Nest who both shared that like they have used looking back at their accomplishments to continue to fuel and inspire them. I talk a lot about like building resilience here and like how we can overcome fear. And I think a huge part of that is like showing yourself like what you've done and allowing that to like propel you forward. The last thing was that that a few people said, I think it was Dr. Levine that said it, but he was talking about how like action takes courage and growth requires action, and action is the only thing that propels us forward. A couple of the other founders also touched on the fact that they're so thankful that they decided to like take risks. I mean, I talk a lot about it on the podcast, but like I think fear and doubt and imposter syndrome keeps us stuck, of course. And I think that if I had listened to every fear or anyone that told me I couldn't do anything, or if I like let the human imposter syndrome get the best of me, I definitely wouldn't have been hosting a happy hour, and I definitely wouldn't have thought that I was even big enough to do that. And I think at the end of the day, it's about asking yourself and getting curious about like what that even means. Like in my case, that limiting belief is like, are you even big enough to host an event with Smile House Tribeca and do this happy hour? Of course, like the human in me is like, oh my God, like no, like you're not like this mega influencer and podcaster, like you're not big enough to do this. But then I ask myself the question, and I've gotten really good at doing this, like what does that even mean? What is big enough? It's all relative. So I think like forcing yourself to like get curious about your limiting beliefs, ask yourself those questions, and then like decide to take action anyway, even if you can't fully shake it, is what propels us forward. And so I think those are like the three common things. But getting back into the happy hour, I was like so thankful to partner with Smile House. Smile House is this like amazing dentistry in Tribeca, which I know sounds so random, but it was so aligned and cool because, I mean, for a few reasons, it was so aligned. But the first I'll say is that their focus and their ethos is around mental health. So Dr. Levine's whole focus is education around the fact that like we have a microbiome in our mouth. And just like we have a microbiome in our gut, we also have a microbiome in our mouth, and both impact our mental health, our stress, our mindset, autoimmune disease, everything. So I went in for like a full mouth mapping. They pH balanced my mouth. They checked out like literally everything. We did x-rays. They checked out my sinuses. They were able to tell me based on like my TMJ and my grinding, what was impacting my sleep, like how the pH balance in my mouth was impacting my overall health and energy. It was insane. It was so cool. If you're in the area, definitely go do it. It's 100% worth it. But obviously, it was super aligned for the podcast, especially since they had this beautiful space, this beautiful courtyard that was like in between these buildings where we were able to like have a bartender, do the florals, have like caviar bumps, have like food trays, have people like walking around and open. It was amazing. I can't even tell you. And another reason why this was super aligned, which is kind of like, I really wanted to get into this too, like a kismic moment or like these coincidences, like these divine timing things have just been like popping up for me. And I feel like when something like very weirdly coincidental happens or like something in divine timing like comes to fruition, I've learned to like view that as like an affirmation from like God, the universe, that like I'm on the right track. I like use that as like almost fuel to keep me going. So the reason I got connected with Smile House was that I met Christina, the co-founder of VitaClean in the Hamptons at Legacy Circle, this like really cool founders retreat that I've talked about here. And we had met before, but we both didn't remember. And we like got randomly sat next to each other and we were talking, and I was talking about what I do. She was talking about what she does. And she told me about her father-in-law, which was Dr. Levine, his practice and like what their family was all building together. And I looked at her and I was like, oh my God, I heard about this company. I literally heard it at an event I went to from this girl. And right when I said this girl, we both clicked at the same time that we had met before. And like that she was the one that had like lightly mentioned it in this group I was like talking with. It was totally in the right timing. I feel like if we would have talked more at the event a few months prior, I wouldn't have had like the whole idea to like go to New York Fashion Week and do an event. And like I had already decided I was doing that moving into New York Fashion Week at the Hamptons, and we got to reconnect. She was the one that connected me, and there was just like so many other like really weird coincidences on this trip. Like I got brunch with my good friend, Eva, who is the founder of Mod, this amazing sexual wellness brand. She actually came on the pod. When we first met, we weren't like exactly friends yet. We were just connected, and now I'd consider her a friend. She's like amazing. Her brand is amazing. She's just doing amazing things. But we were talking and she brought up this guy and like told me she wanted me to meet him. And like my best friend Brittany was already like working for him and like had told me she wanted me to meet him. And then like Eva brought it up and like he was actually in town. So we ended up meeting, and now we're going to do like business stuff together. Like so many weird connections. And I feel like I always try to like find those things to like validate like what I'm doing. And I do think those are signs, but I also think those types of things can't happen if you are not open and if you do not believe that you are not just worthy, but you are capable of doing what you want and achieving what you want and building what you want and making things happen. You can't really like find those moments. And I feel like those moments don't pop up as much. So if you can take anything from the events in New York and what I've been doing like with the pod in real life and like these stories that I'm sharing, it's that like things open up for you when you believe that you're capable of the things you dream of and that nothing is like impossible. And I know that maybe it sounds cheesy, and I know that like there are things that aren't possible, I guess, but like I truly believe that like everything I desire is like within my reach. And a lot of it maybe seems a little unrealistic, but to me, I feel like I believe truly that I am capable of doing what I want to do. And I don't let people keep me in a box. And I want and like yearn and like allow the world to like open for me. And I think when you have that mindset, like these coincidences happen. Like another one happened on the plane. Oh my God, a few happened. I went into this bar and like me and my friends had this like favorite bartender at one of our favorite spots here in downtown San Diego. He ended up moving to New York. I like walked into a random bar in New York, like no plan to be there, didn't know he worked there, and he was like right behind the bar, and that's where he had moved. It was just like this moment where I was like, oh my God, like I'm on the right timeline. And I'm not like woo like that, but it was just this validation of like, oh my God, like we're all connected, like things are working out for me. And then another thing happened on the plane. I was sitting next to this guy and whatever, we didn't talk the entire time. And then the last hour, he like pulled out his art, and then I started asking him about it, and turns out like his manager just gave him like a lecture on like how he needs to like hire a social media agency and like get this going, and like that's what I do. And it's just like there's so many connections waiting for us, and like so many opportunities if you are open and like are waiting for them, and not just waiting for them, if you ask for them. And I'm definitely someone, and I know this is probably really hard to believe, but like I'm definitely someone that like stays in my little like social bubble. Like I'm not the person that wants to talk to the people next to me on the airplane. I'm not someone who like wants to talk to the random people at the bar, but I do really believe that I've developed like a trust within myself to follow my intuition. Like when I feel there's a moment, or when I feel authentically like there's something that needs to be said, I say it. But also I do think I'm very open, and I think subconsciously this belief that I can achieve anything I want, and that I'm capable of figuring anything out, and that like my dreams can become a reality if I like work hard and I keep myself open. That belief, I think, allows opportunities to flow in, and these like kismic moments to happen, and these connections to form, and like divine timing to really like present itself, because I'm open and I trust that like things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. So anyway, long tangent for don't keep yourself in a box. Keep yourself open, and don't listen to what other people speak over you all the time, because I would argue that like most people in my life, though I have a good support system, a lot of them don't understand like my vision and like a lot of the things that I see for myself and dream for myself. They like maybe see it, but they don't maybe view it as realistically as I do. Getting back into like a New York Fashion Week recap, it was a great week. It was so insane, you guys. Like I cannot even tell you like how chaotic the week was. Like so much fun, so grateful, but like I'm like unwell. Like I literally just recorded this episode. I just have to share it because I'm pissed about it, and if I don't share it with someone, I feel like my effort won't be acknowledged. But like I recorded this entire episode already once. It was so good. I felt so good about everything I said. I like don't even feel like this one's going to be as good, but it's fine. And the sound like was not working. Like I even sound tested, and like I literally recorded a 40-minute episode and there's no sound on it. And I had to sit back down where I am right now, what you're watching, and record after I'm like exhausted after this long week. So that's just life. But it was crazy. So grateful, but absolutely insane. Like just to give you like a little picture into it, because I think I do a good job of like showing the chaos on stories. I don't think people actually like know, aside from even hosting events, like how insane that is, how crazy Fashion Week is. And like especially paired with like the pod tour, like we decided to do like a pod tour since I was going to be in New York. So I recorded 7 episodes this week. I shot probably 10 looks, and then like attended like 10 events. Landed on Sunday with Sydney, my friend and photographer, and I immediately went into a meeting, got dinner, woke up early. We hosted those events. We went to like go work on our computer and finish off things that we hadn't finished yet for the week. And then we like shot a look, and then went to dinner. And then I woke up super early, prepped my episodes, did 3 pod recordings back to back. No water, no food. Also, can we talk about that? Like New Yorkers, can you weigh in here? Like, are you guys just like all malnourished? I swear to God, I'm there in New York for 8 days during Fashion Week. And I know Fashion Week is chaotic, but like, I think I drank more than I ate. Like, I genuinely feel I'm malnourished right now. I don't know how you guys like stay hydrated, walking around and like eating. Like, it's so go, go, go. There's so many things that you have to be at. And I seriously think like, in reality, like New York is always go, 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 Fashion Week or not. So like, how are you guys staying like fed and hydrated. I'm so dehydrated. I can't even talk about it. I need to like chug gallons of water. But anyway, so I record the 3 pod episodes back to back. I have 35 minutes to get back to my hotel. Thank God I booked my studio by my hotel this time. Also, side note, if you need a pod studio, loved the one I'm using now. It's amazing. So thank God it was by my hotel, because I like quickly Ubered to my hotel, touched on my makeup, changed, Ubered to Smile House Tribeca to set up all the flowers and the food and get everything ready for people to come. We had the event, which was amazing, but obviously like chaos. We go like out to dinner after to celebrate. We go to the Amazon Fashion Week party. Then me and Sydney get back to our hotel at like 1. We have to go through all of the content. 2, 3, we fall asleep, get all the images ready, get the post ready for the next day. Then the next day is our only free day to shoot all of my outfits. So we wake up, of course it's raining, so we have to wait till it stops raining at like 11:30, 12. We have from 12 to 4 to shoot 10 looks. It was literally like 10 looks. We ended up doing like 8, and like we got the other one shot at a different time. But like I was literally changing in the streets of Soho. I brought my little carry-on luggage. Like at that point, like no food, no water. It's just like go, go, go. And again, like I think I'm sharing this on socials, but like it's all very glamorized. Like same as entrepreneurship. Like this whole thing is like amazing, so fun, so many cool opportunities, but it is insane. Like it's not for the weak. It's crazy. Threw all my shit back in the luggage, get an Uber, go to the Heaven Mayhem event. I like have my luggage. Pia's so sweet, like lets me like put it in the back, hang out, get to take a breath, and then on to the next, like another event. We're up till like super late again, and then wake up at 7, 4 podcast recordings back to back to back. And like the adrenaline of it all, I think like keeps me going, and like I'm so fulfilled by the podcast and like the conversations we're having that like it's not a chore, but it's insane. Like no water in between, no food. I'm just like changing blazers. It is so much fun, but there's so much that goes into being able to do this kind of stuff. And I really do think it's important to share, because same thing with entrepreneurship. I talk about this with so many of my clients who own restaurants, who own different brands. Everyone that owns a business feels this way, that like social media truly glamorizes the grind and like the hustle of like what's actually required to like run your own business. And don't even get me started on like what's happening back home. I mean, I would say like that, like if we're going to do like an Instagram versus reality thing, I think like that for me is like probably the thing that I think I don't show the most, just because I don't have time. The amount of prep that it takes to take off 8 days from being in San Diego. Oh my God. Like I got like a couple hours of sleep for like a whole week. I'm staying up to like 2, 3 a.m. like working, trying to get all of our clients. Because again, you guys have heard of me talk about it before. Like I don't just have the podcast and like my brand partnerships. I have an entire agency where we do the social strategy and social like management of multiple founders and hospitality projects. To prep for being gone for 8 days is no joke. Like it's so stressful. It was so grueling. And I think that a lot of people now on socials and on podcasts are talking about how like there needs to be a balance, like hustle culture is toxic, blah, blah, blah. It's not healthy to like do this. And of course it's not, like duh, like it's not healthy. But I would argue that like a lot of times you don't have a choice. There are different like seasons of life and different phases of a business. I think like the biggest misconception of entrepreneurship is that you can have a balance, especially in the beginning. If you're going to start a business and you're going to be an entrepreneur, just know that like it's not for the weak. And I'm not saying all of this to be like and breaking down this schedule and like sharing like all the like shitty parts of it to like give like a woe is me vibe, or to like make you like think I'm super hardworking or something. It's more so to show like the actual reality of like what happens behind the scenes as a creator at Fashion Week, as an influencer, as an entrepreneur, as someone who does all 3. Like it is very intense, and I want everyone to be an entrepreneur. Like I try to get all my friends to like do their own thing and start their own business, but just know what you're getting into, because it's very intense. Like it's very, very intense. And the whole like work-life balance thing is not, I don't know. I haven't found it to be realistic. but I'll report back as I continue to grow. I will say though, at least through all of this, I was comfortable. The time New York City made me feel like I was at home at least. I've stayed there more times than I can count on one hand, and they treat me well every single time. They create the best experience every single time. And I feel like that's really rare to say, like, especially when you frequent a place so much, like there's always things that go wrong. I've never had any problems with them. Amazing staff, super accommodating, very easy to get water. If you've stayed in New York a lot, you know why I'm bringing that up, because it is so hard to get water bottles in New York. And like, they were so good about keeping me hydrated, at least while I was at the hotel. They brought hot water up for me for my bone broth. Side note, shout out to Chroma Wellness for bone broth. I wish this was an ad. It's not. I am obsessed. That was like the only thing keeping me nourished during this week was those like bone broth packets they have. I'm manifesting a partnership with them because I'm obsessed. So anyway, the time was bringing me up hot water for that. They like have really good sized rooms for like the stereotypical small New York City hotel room situation. Really good rooms, really comfortable. Air conditioning was amazing, which is like a necessity in the city. They have like a free wine and cheese hour every day. They're like positioned perfectly in the city in between anywhere you would want to be. They're kind of in the middle. So like you can take the subway, which is right next to the hotel. Fabulous. I know it by heart now. And you can go downtown, you can go uptown, pretty much 18 minutes both ways to like everything I needed, which is, I feel, unheard of in the city. And just like super reliable. Like I sent so many Amazon packages to the concierge and they're just super accommodating. Like they're on it. Like they brought all my packages to my room. I get like a clothes rack, hangers, steamers, like for my fashion week situation. They're just on it. When you're in the city and there's so much chaos going on, it's really nice to have like a reliable hotel. They also have like a hotel car that you can use like to go to the airport and back. Anyway, it's great. Absolutely love the time in New York. Anyway, I really wanted to like share like the podcast stuff that happened and like kind of like the behind the scenes of New York Fashion Week, because you guys are a huge part of like why I'm able to do all of this stuff, and I'm so grateful. But one of the DMs I wanted to address, and there was actually like a few of DMs in this like same energy, was like, how did you get all of these opportunities? Or that looks so amazing. I wish I could do that. Or like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to do that. And all so kind, but I want to address it because back to my point in the beginning, like you can do this. Like you can create opportunities to get a message that's like, this is so amazing. I wish I could do this, or I could never do this, is really hard for me because I'm like, no, like you can. Looking at New York Fashion Week and the opportunities and the invites and the caliber of guests I've been able to have on the pod, it's all in believing that you have the capacity to do what you want to do, believing that nothing is impossible, and also just asking for what you want. If you ask, there is a high chance that you will receive. Whether it comes to business opportunities, being invited somewhere, being in a room with important people, like obviously like it doesn't always work out. But I would argue in my experience, like 80% of the time it works out in some form. And if you do not ask, you will never receive. If you are not open, opportunities will not come. The agency is like really leveling up right now. And I'm very stressed, but I'm grounded. And I use those words very purposefully. I'm very stressed, but I'm grounded because I don't allow things like this to trigger me for too long to affect me. Like I don't allow a trigger to get in the way of my ability to execute. And I think that's what allows me to keep going forward. If you are trying to pursue something, whether it's your business, whether it's a new career, whether it's a passion, whether it's a relationship, whether it's anything, your self-growth, embarking in like therapy, even like if you think too much, you will not get it done. Your humanity will take over and you'll sit in self-doubt and it will be harder and harder to start. Secondly, I think along with that, because I talk about that a lot, but something I don't talk about as much, which I really want to touch on specifically in regard to these DMs, is that like I am incredibly confident in my ability to overcome. I am confident that I will figure it out. I don't know how to like logistically and like on paper, like I don't know how to like hire people or like build out like this crazy big like agency. I'm just figuring it out as I go. And I think a lot of it is that I trust myself enough to know that I can do the things that I want to do. I'm confident of that. And I think confidence in ourselves actually comes from trust in ourselves. And you have to trust yourself enough to make a decision that could be wrong, that could go south, that could not work out in the way you want it to. And you have to trust that you'll be able to navigate and pivot when the time comes. You may be thinking like, well, how do I trust myself? it's hard. I think first you have to like obviously pursue self-growth. This is like a mental health podcast. So like you need to go to therapy. You need to be able to look in the mirror, acknowledge your ego, acknowledge the childhood trauma and like work through it. But aside from that, I think you need to show yourself proof. I think you need to show yourself proof of the things that you've overcome so that you can feel more comfortable trusting yourself. And if that requires you actually to sit down in your fear 10-minute reset, and if you haven't listened to that episode, I do like a fear 10-minute reset where I actually will set a timer for 10 minutes when I am like feeling fear and imposter syndrome, and I'll let myself sit in it and like just feel it. And then when the timer goes off, I move on. But if you need to, during that 10 minutes, take a piece of paper and write down the things that like you have been through, and you show yourself proof that you've overcome a lot of things and like been successful or at least gotten through it, you can build more trust and motivation to be more resilient. If you're hearing this and you're like, well, I don't really have any proof, well, you better go out and get some, because you can't move forward if you do not take action. You cannot grow if you don't take risks, and taking risks is about your resilience thermometer. Because if you don't take risks, you can't build trust that everything is going to be okay when you're in charge. You know, like even with the happy hour, like this was my first New York City event. Both of them were. Like I've hosted many events here, but I've never hosted events in New York. Like there is a chance that like no one is going to show up or that it's not going to be a success. You have to be able to handle that outcome. I have a really cool client of mine who actually brought up the fact that like when she is sitting in fear, she'll like weigh all the outcomes. She'll start to meditate and she'll go to like the worst case scenario and like feel that. And then she'll go to the best case scenario and feel that, and then pick something kind of in the middle and feel that. And by doing that, it allows her to like be comfortable with the outcome of like all of the things that could happen when she takes a risk. And usually it's like the middle ground that happens. And so I think if we can truly focus on like building trust so that we can feel confident in taking risks, I think that's like really the sweet spot when it comes to like DMs like this. Like you can do what you want to do. You don't need to be held in a box. If you're looking at someone's content and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, I wish I could do that. If you wish you can do something, you can do it. You can. Obviously, like there's privilege, there's different opportunities, whatever. But like aside from that, like people still have overcome. People have still overcome really intense circumstances to get to where they are. And if you wish something and you want something, it's not like I have some like special something that makes me like more equipped and able to do certain things. I definitely have had privilege, but like there's no like thing I was like born with that like gives me more audacity. Everyone can do certain things. You can execute events, you can go on podcasts, you can start businesses, you can do whatever you want to do if that's what you want. But I do think it takes resilience. Resilience is key. And I think building resilience lies in like being able to build trust and confidence within your ability to overcome and do anything you want to do. So that's pretty much all I have for you. I'm kind of pissed because I'm serious. Like the episode I recorded before this where the mic wasn't working was much more eloquent, but I guess this is your raw and unfiltered, unapologetic version of the New York Fashion Week recap. So thank you guys for listening. We're back to regular programming next week. We have amazing guests coming on thanks to you guys. So I'm really, really excited. Make sure to leave us a review, stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really, really helps. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you leave here feeling motivated and inspired. Do not forget to rate and review the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to follow How I See It Pod so you can keep up with podcast updates and see who's coming on next. And if you're not already, come join the fam and follow at How Han Sees It. Thank you guys.